Hello friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lindsay. More than anything, I want to inspire you to think differently and try something new in your home to create a space you truly love. I can't go to a new city without immediately Googling all of the different vintage and antique dealers in the area. It's a really fun way to see a new part of the city, find something interesting to take home, and carefully curate and find interesting pieces for our space. I highly recommend you do that anytime you're heading through, even if you're just passing through a city. Often it's the small towns that have the best stuff. When we went to Puyallup, I had probably a list of 10 places I would have loved to go to, but honestly, after a late night, early morning, a big brunch, we were kind of anxious to hit the road. We ended up just going to one big one with a million different vendors, different floors, I mean cavernous, so many different hallways and pathways to more vintage goodies. We had a lot of fun searching. Even Travis, I mean, he just really went through and combed through every little room. This store, honestly, when we walked in, I wasn't sure how successful we would be. These. I used to search eBay for these and then try to rewire them to use in my apartment.
From my winter hell, I've got candles and candy. I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your choice is seminal. I want you to stay true to what's right for you.
I was excited about the size. I knew there was a lot to explore, but sometimes these vintage malls can be really overwhelming. There's just so many different vendors, so many different halls to walk through, so many floors. It can just get a little hard to remember what you saw at the beginning and what you might be looking for. It gets clouded when you see different things. One thing I recommend is going with a list of kind of your top things you're looking for, especially if it's specific furniture pieces. Maybe take some notes or even take little quick snaps with your phone to remember items and maybe where they were in the store. The giraffe lamp. Travis, did you see it?
Oh wow, I didn't.
Cute. Too bad they painted it.
That color is very specific to it.
Look at the original poles, are so cool. It's a good price, probably because they painted it.
Come around, lay down your telephone. No, we don't know. We think we're broken or alone. Vibrations on me. not sharp. A peace of mind, I've taught my dogs to bark. Oh, guilty or not, you're spreading, let me steer you. Now let me steer you while you shoot. What's the essence in every lesson? When uphill is a blessing. What's the essence of no pretense, just present? Come around, lay down your telephone. Oh, we don't know, we think we're broken or alone. It's not true. Not for me, not for you. Nothing makes sense.
I haven't even opened this since we came home just because I wanted to open it with you. Oh, this is fun. All right, this one is a vintage 60s little green glass candy jar. I was so excited to see this little pedestal container, and I love this olive green glass. It's such a pretty color, and I love that sort of striping in the glass. Fluted edging, you can see right up here. It's just gonna be a fun little styling piece. As you can see, I love this little bench back here, like stacking things on it. I'm thinking this will just add a little bit of height to any designs. So you'll definitely see this popping up in spring and summer styling. I'm thinking about getting some like cute little candies or something for it, or maybe it's some sort of potpourri moment. I'm not sure, but I think they took all the price tags off, but I believe this one was about $15. All right, next little goody goodies. Oh, this one was fun. A little handmade pot. Doing a little bit of editing of our plants, which I talked about in last week's spring updates video. Doing a lot of pruning, a lot of editing. We tossed out a bunch of plants that just maybe have seen better days. Just lightening the load here in our home, finding the best spots for the plants we do own, making sure that we are getting them on the Planta app, taking really good care of the ones we do keep. I just really wanted to find some interesting handmade vessels for plants. So this one, I'm thinking it actually would be really pretty in here. Or, gosh, this would be actually really pretty right there. Or it could even go, honestly, anywhere. I love the sort of speckling. I love the sort of sparkliness to it. Not sparkleness, but sort of almost like a sheen, like a metallic sheen. And it's got great texture, and it was even handmade. You can see it's got a little signature on the bottom. I just really love this piece. The sun has been changing rapidly throughout the day. We've got thunderstorms in Seattle today, and yeah, I'm just hoping that, you know, we can finish this video. Oh, I know what this is. It was the first item that I found, and maybe my favorite. I'm a sucker for anything French, if you know me at all. We took a trip to France in February 2020. It was the best trip of my life. Lifelong dreamed of going there. I'm obsessed with French culture. I love the design aesthetic, the Rococo, the Haussmann era. It's just all, ooh, I love it. And so anything a little French inspired is definitely key for me. I love adding little French pieces to our dining collection. And so this is a little milk pitcher, which I thought was so cute, so traditionally French. It was made in France. You can see the little tag on the bottom, something I look for when I'm finding little French pieces for our home. Oh, it's adorable. So I can just envision the kitchen renovation plans that I have, and this sitting on a little stack of books with a beautiful vintage painting on that little single marble shelf I'm planning. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. So I'll be just dreaming of that moment and holding on to this picture until that moment. There was so much offerings for vintage books at this store. I was blown away. Usually I have a hard time finding a little set of books that is interesting titles, beautiful color palette. Honestly, if you are looking for vintage books and you're anywhere near 3rd Street Antiques, you've got to go because, I mean, you can see from the footage, just walls and walls and walls of vintage books. Every title. One thing I would definitely recommend is check the price of each book, because unless they're bundled and sold just for aesthetically purposes, a lot of times these books can be worth a lot of money, and you might find some that are 65 cents, some that are $2.50, and some that are like $50. So you just want to double check every single one before you take it to the register. So the first one that I found was this one, Roses, and I just thought it was such a pretty organic cover, the garden library. I love the colors, and I was looking for some green tones for some styling in our guest bedroom, which is coming up in a very future video very soon. I have some big plans for that room. This will fit in there so perfectly, maybe just stacked on the bedside table. Oh, it's so cute. The vintage pictures and the beautiful imagery. I love this picture of roses. I just love a vintage book. This one's the New Garden Encyclopedia. Again, green. I think it's gonna go really nicely together. These sort of shades of green I'm building. Then we found this little skinny brown one, and it's a brief English grammar book, which I thought was cool since I'm a teacher. Not a book I'm super familiar with, but I just love the picture on the cover. I thought it was really calming and pretty. And I found this set of books in there that were all artists, and so I selected this one. John Singer Sargent is one of my all-time favorite portrait artists, and I love how this had some sort of exposed texture here. And then if you actually just look inside, it's just got some of his most beautiful artworks. Really interesting narrative. This is written actually by a person who met John Singer Sargent, which is incredible. And I flipped to this page and I was like, what? This one was written by T. Martin Wood, and he writes, I once had occasion to call on Mr. Sargent and was shown into a room with a black carpet. Only a colorist loves black and sees it as a color, which I thought was so hilarious because I love to think of myself as a colorist, not a hair colorist, but you know, a colorist in design. And my favorite color is black. So I love black. It's definitely a color to me. Generally, when I have a color choice, I go for black. He definitely saw that in John Singer Sargent, so I guess I have something in common with him. More than anything, I love the aesthetics of this little set. I think they go really nicely together, so beautiful. So let's check out the beautiful pedestals I found. They are absolutely stunning. The first one I found is wood veneer. It was a pretty decent price. It was the prettiest thing that I found by far, and you know me, I'm obsessed with pedestals. I have one right back here for this plant, and I've been looking for some more. Interested in DIYing some, but honestly, these were amazing finds. The second one I found was right as I was just rounding the front of the store one more time to see if I missed anything, and I saw it. It was marked Brutalist, which is a style that I absolutely love. It just adds a little bit more layered texture in a more ornate space. I decided to go ahead and barter, which I just cannot be stopped. I love trying to negotiate pricing. Of course, I love to go in by asking, is the price negotiable? It's always a nice thing to say in a store when you're not sure. They said, yes, everything's negotiable, my favorite answer. So I told them, I'll take it. Maybe we could do 125. She ended up calling the vendor at home. Gladly, he picked up and kind of kicked it back up to 145, which I happily accepted. I was just happy to save $50 and take this beautiful piece of art home with me. This one is incredible. My mother-in-law made a really interesting point that the top and bottom of it look like a newer wood because they're a different tone than the middle structure that is obviously the most interesting part of this design. But either way, I think I'm gonna have so much fun styling this one. You will definitely see this styling up very soon in another interior design vlog. The moral of the story here is I hope you think outside the box, shop outside the Target, try to find some vintage shops in your local area, or the next time you're on a little road trip like us, even driving an hour away from the city, it was irresistible to find a cool vintage shop that we hadn't been in and just check things out. One thing I love to do is just cruise the vintage market, see what I can find. Honestly, it always helps me to bring a little bit more character and interest into our home, makes every space feel a little bit more personalized and unique, and I love finding things that nobody else is gonna have in their home. If you love vintage shopping, then continue along with me into another favorite store here in Seattle. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. I'll be back at you next Sunday with another design video. Until then, happy decorating. Bye, my friends.